Hey, Bob Mangino here. Worried about losing your earnest money on a Naples condo deal? Stick around and we will show you how to avoid mistakes with your earnest money. First, I have to make a disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and not for legal advice. For legal advice, you need to contact your closing attorney who can answer any questions about your real estate contract. Okay. Many earnest money problems happen with home inspections. Today we're going to show you how to not lose your earnest money in any home inspection disputes. Disputes over money in real estate contracts are no fun. A common problem occurs when the buyer finds inspection items they want the seller to fix, but the seller is not required under the contract to fix them. If the buyer cancels the contract in the above situation, the buyer may put their earnest money at risk. We will look at how two real estate contracts used in Naples, Florida handle this problem. The two contracts are the NABOR as-is contract and the NABOR standard contract. Each one handles earnest money deposits differently. Each contract has their benefits and risks. Earnest money is a key item in the real estate contract. The earnest money deposit shows that you are serious, but mishandling it can cost you big time. Always clarify the terms in your contract. Know when and how to get out of the contract if the deal falls through. Never enter a real estate contract that you do not know how to get out of. Also work with a savvy local agent who understands the Naples market's nuances. He will help protect your deposit and guide you through the contingencies, inspections, and deadlines. Remember, protecting your earnest money means protecting your investment. Stay smart and stay safe. The benefits of the as-is contract is that you can cancel the contract for any reason during the 15-day inspection period. If you cancel the contract after the 15-day inspection period, you put your earnest money at risk. Some key points to know about the earnest money deposit. The earnest money deposit is a key recourse for the seller if the buyer cancels for a reason not outlined in the contract. In order for the escrow agent to release the earnest money deposit, both the buyer and the seller have to sign an earnest money release document. If buyer or seller refuses to sign earnest money release form, then escrow agent cannot dispense the earnest money to either party. All earnest money is released to the buyer if the buyer cancels contract for a reason allowed in the contract. If buyer breaches contract, earnest money is shared between the seller and the listing broker as outlined in the listing agreement. The benefit of the NABOR standard contract is that it presents a good path for the buyer to ask for repairs. If buyer anticipates that they will be asking for repairs, then the NABOR standard contract is a good choice. The buyer is given 15 days to do an inspection. Then the buyer is given 5 days to give seller the repair request. Seller then has 10 days to respond to the buyer's repair request. The buyer then has 5 days to either accept or reject the seller's response. Remember, buyer just gets one bite at the apple. Buyer only gets to make one buyer's request. Key note to how this process affects the earnest money deposit. What we have to look at in the NABOR standard contract is that the buyer can only cancel the contract and get their earnest money deposit back only if the seller refuses to fix any of the 6 items listed in the contract as defective inspection items. These 6 defective inspection items listed in the contract are systems and equipment, toxic mold, not allergenic mold, radon over 4 pixel, not radon under 4 pixel, wood-destroying organisms, open permits, lead-based paint. Note, buyer can cancel contract if seller refuses to fix any one of these 6 defective inspection items listed in the contract, and they can still get their earnest money back. Note, buyer can cancel contract if seller does not respond to buyer's request within the 10-day response period and still get their earnest money back. Note, buyer loses the right to cancel contract if buyer does not respond to seller's offer during the buyer's 5-day response period. Disclaimer, this information is for educational purposes only. For legal advice on earnest money deposits and real estate contracts, you need to contact your real estate attorney. In conclusion, we looked at how earnest money was handled with the NABOR as-is contract and the NABOR standard contract. The benefit of the NABOR as-is contract was that a buyer could cancel the contract for any reason during the 15-day inspection period and get their earnest money back. The benefit to the buyer of the NABOR standard contract was that it provided a clean process for requesting repairs. The key point of the NABOR standard contract was that the buyer could only cancel the contract and get their earnest money deposit back if the seller refused to fix any of the 6 items classified as defective inspection items listed in the contract. For more information about Fallingwater's real estate, you can schedule a free Zoom call by calling Bob Mangino at 404-242-6498. For more videos like this, click the video above.